Many people in life need to realize that ultimately there is no safety and security, and the same thing goes for everything online, especially with Facebook that goes out of its way to make sure you have no safety, privacy, and of course, security, and time again has failed you with your private personal information. And that's why this story is going to be very interesting, not only because of the worldwide outages that people are reporting with Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp right now, but also because the mainstream media, especially the New York Times, just went trash picking into Mark Zuckerberg's trash, which is fascinating. We're going to get into this story in just a little bit, but it's fascinating because Mark Zuckerberg, it has just come out, spends $22.6 million for his security. And I would say he definitely got gypped off when literally the New York Times, they're trying to make a bigger point about privacy here, are literally going through his trash and listing every item in there. We're going to go through that list in a little bit, but there's definitely some puns to make here. The trash, mainstream media. What do you got here, Jason? Come on, I know you got something.
I got nothing. When I look at somebody like Zuckerberg with 22.6 million in security, yeah, that sounds absolutely insane. But he's got a family. He's also a very large. Yeah, go ahead.
It doubled. It doubled than last year's, but it kind of shows how worried and concerned he is about privacy when he's one of the biggest sellers of your private information, which is again highlights important aspects here of how just paranoid he is. And usually people who are paranoid, making a stretch here, of course, usually they have some dirt on their hands, just like the New York Times.
Oh, there's a lot of dirt on his hands, no doubt about it. But I think he's up to security, one, not only because of the public perception threat, but the investors are trying to get rid of him. We've done several videos on this, that it does look like his time is limited there. They are trying to move him out of that company. But that's almost a side issue if you want to talk about the trash issue, Luke. First of all, I want to give it a little context, guys. So what they did is they got one of these people that does this kind of professionally. Everybody's seen American Pickers and things like that. Some people have antique shops. Some people just flip stuff. So basically this guy goes into uber rich neighborhoods. I almost thought this was kind of a non-story. And he's found, and this isn't at Zuckerberg's, but everything from iPhones to iPads and other electronics. And then he goes and sells them on the street. Well, hey, everybody's got to throw away their trash, right? So they went in and got a bunch of stuff there, and I thought it was a pretty tame aspect to this story, Luke.
The New York Times literally has dirt on their hands in this specific story. But it is interesting, and I do believe there's a bigger point to make here because, again, it is a full-time trash picker. They're talking about the underground kind of economy that is in San Francisco, which doesn't surprise me with this guy walking around multi-million-dollar houses. And it has been ruled many times in a court of law where people can go through your garbage since it is allegedly, public property. And there's been many stories where, tabloid magazines have been going through celebrities' trash, trying to get information, trying to get dirt and scoops. Many people say that this is very unethical. But before we even get into that bigger topic, what do you make of what was found in Mark Zuckerberg's trash? Because obviously the case that they're making here is Mark Zuckerberg's taking your private information, most of it which you don't even know about, and selling it to someone else. So they're going to do the same thing with their piece, which they just did here. Do you want to list off some of the items here?
Yeah, let's just list them off. See, I kind of disagree because all these tech moguls are doing the same exact thing and they have dirt on each other. But hey, we're voluntarily giving this. If you're naive enough to believe that everything isn't tracked and traced in database in 2019 on all of these sites, I feel bad for you. So if you want to know what the Zuckerbergs have, remember they have children. So we have a child's pink bicycle helmet, a vacuum cleaner, a hair dryer, a coffee machine, a pile of clothes, a Whole Foods paper bag. This is when we're starting to get into that upper middle class, depending on where you live, folks. I know not everybody has a Whole Foods paper bag in there, but I'm pretty sure we all shop at the grocery store. We got some A&W Diet root beer cans.
Right, of course. Probably has aspartame in there.
Jeez, Luke, you're reaching. Some cardboard boxes, a junk mail credit card offer, the remnants of a chicken dinner, a stale baguette, some Chinese takeout containers, and a garbage bag containing just junk, in other words. Surprise, tech moguls are just like us. I assure you they're not. I assure you they are not, but their trash does look a lot like ours when it's not the high-end stuff, Luke.
What was the story of allegedly Mark Zuckerberg taking someone hunting? Can we look into that a little bit? But the bigger discussion that does need to be made here is, of course, the New York Times saying that we're going to prove a lesson to Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't respect people's privacy, so we're not going to respect their privacy. Obviously, privacy is a major aspect that allegedly Facebook is saying and coming out, we're going to take seriously right now after hack, after selling your information to the highest bidder, causing a lot of social concerns that are very important to bring up, which is why a lot of people are talking about these kind of outages that happen. The outage that happened this morning, and again, the stories that we talked about before, before we even get into the outages, definitely there's a lot of reaching, not just reaching into the trash, but what do you guys think? And I want to kind of get your take on it. Is this kind of good journalism or is this unethical journalism, Jason? What do you make out of this kind of New York Times literal trash piece and the bigger debate that it has sparked?
I almost feel like it's a sell like for like Storage Wars or American Pickers. Like how long until this guy or somebody else has a similar like reality TV show? He goes through the Beverly Hills trash. He's down Rodeo. I mean, come on. It's almost a non-story. I'd much rather talk about the real meat right here, which is, all right, so the outage you were talking about, happiness and not being on social media, I didn't even notice it, to be quite honest. I don't have an Instagram or a WhatsApp, and most of my Facebook time is spent with you, Luke, across the way going over news articles, right? So what is interesting to me is this happened almost a month ago to the day. So where is that right here? Oh, there's where he kills what he eats, by the way. So
wait, he kills what he eats?
yeah, he only kills what he eats. That's 2011. So that's yeah. Apparently he's a major hunter, and all the meat that he eats, he kills it first. But again, a month ago we had a major outage, right? Last year, with the Cambridge Analytica scandal out there, let's see right there. All the personal information that was for sale has been outed. It's now come out it was even more than that. We know that. But it does appear, as we've been covering, they want Zuckerberg out, man. They want him out of there. The investors do not like the direction that he's taken this company. I don't know whether it's they're not making enough profit, that they have different ideal sets of what they want on that platform. But it really appears to me there is a hostile takeover in place. And this is huge because this is the #1 social media network. Almost everybody, at least in this country, is hooked into this in some way, shape, or form. Forget about like the 5 degrees or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Everybody on the planet, if they're not on, or not the planet, in the country, if they're not on Facebook, is 1 degree away from Facebook somewhere. Whether it's a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a friend, an aunt, and uncle. So, this is a big network, and it's worth a lot of money. So, it's tough for me to say what's going on here. Again, $22.6 million in security seems absolutely absurd. But when you've got other billionaires gunning for you, I mean, it doesn't shock me.
I mean, he definitely got gypped with reporters literally just going to his trash, and we're literally talking about the trash that he has. And again, there does deserve to be a bigger discussion here. But this man has a lot of power and a lot of influence, and of course, there comes a lot of scrutiny. And I believe there has been a lot of direct scrutiny on him, which does need to be pointed out. But when you talk about killing your own food, that's kind of the more ethical thing to do when compared to factory farming. But that's a whole nother discussion to have. This outages that are happening with Facebook, with Instagram, and WhatsApp that happened this morning, again, almost directly to the month, to one of the longest ones. There is something to kind of look at here, because some people are saying that this is signaling to the downfall of this big social media giant that's going to become the next MySpace, with, of course, millennials leaving, only older people using the platform. And with a lot of older people using the platform, you got to understand, Jason, you made a comment earlier on saying, if you don't know you're being tracked, traced, and databased, I feel sorry for you. There's a lot of older people who literally get a phone call from, usually people in India, claiming that they're IRS agents, and they literally just give over their credit card number. There's a lot of people who are totally oblivious to this fact. A lot of people who don't know and don't want to know and have their heads in the sand, and that population on social media is usually very prevalent. And we have to make sure that that is also understood here on a larger scale. And that's why it's important to share content, share information. But this outage, again, could be just technological troubles, or it could be signs of another database hack. That also could be a potential here. Again, we're just speculating here, which is important to do, to look at the broader picture of what is possible, and to just remind you, hey, don't put any private information you don't want anyone else to know online. You think those DMs, you think those private pictures, Becky, you're sending over there, you think you're the only one seeing them? Nope, you're not. Everything you put online into this little box thingy, little phone thingy, automatically someone has access to it. Usually government first, then private corporations. Just thought you should know that. Just a friendly reminder. And then let me know what other kind of puns and analogies you guys have for the New York Times literally going through trash. I would love to hear it. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.